let's analyze this. So, WWE superstar and former multi-time world champion. I believe he has four world championships. Former tag team champion, IC champ, US champ, former Royal Rumble winner as well. Roman Reigns recently did an interview with Good Morning America. I believe this was 2 days ago, where he talks about the recent diagnosis, the prognostication of his leukemia being in remission. So let's see what he has to say.
Now to our GMA cover story, our exclusive with one of the toughest WWE superstars we know. Of course, we're talking about Roman Reigns.
Before they get into the interview, I just want to put my testimony out there on how I feel about the situation, how I felt about it when it first occurred, and how I feel about it now. Let me say this. For all of you doubters and some of y'all irrational haters, Roman Reigns' leukemia is not a work. Let me say that again. Roman Reigns' leukemia is not a work. And if you believe that, you need help. Like, there's no other way of saying it. There's no proving me wrong. There's no let me see proof and records. No. That's not how this works. Number one, when back in October on Raw, when he came out to announce that his leukemia had returned after 11 years of being gone, when he announced that he came back, if you looked at Roman very, very closely, and no makeup bullshit, don't tell me that was makeup, no. If you look at Roman real closely, that was the palest that man had ever been, arguably in his entire life. I didn't see Roman growing up because he wasn't a wrestler. I didn't grow up with the man, but it's hard not to tell that the man had been the palest he had ever been probably since he was born. The man looked like, he damn near looked like, what do you call those people that look like vampires? I just pulled up the word earlier, and I forgot the, albino. He looked albino. He damn near looked albino. That's how pale he was. And I think that if it wasn't for the lighting in the arena, he probably looked even more pale than that. That's number one. Number two, when he showed up on Raw this past Monday to announce that his leukemia is now in remission, and he had that moment where him and Seth had fought off Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and I believe Baron Corbin. Was it all three? One of you peeps can correct me down in the comments below if I'm wrong. Because once again, I don't watch Raw and SmackDown live anymore. I watch it on replay. Well, I don't even watch it on replay. I just watch it whenever WWE loads the segments or matches from their YouTube channel. But anyway, when he was throwing the Superman punches and when he did the spear, he clearly looked out of breath. And also, he looked lighter than he did last time. Like, he lost a little bit of muscle. I don't know why people think that the man has to look like he's dying for them to believe that he had, like, if somebody has to look terrible, like real terrible and anorexic for you to believe that they really have a disease, then I don't know who raised you. I don't know who taught you that disease comes in all forms. It comes in all shapes, and it, depending on the anatomy, depending on the body, it all comes down to science. It depends on who you are and what your genetic makeup is that will determine how you will look based on whatever disease you have. So you can see somebody with cancer still have a full head of hair. That doesn't mean that they don't have cancer. That either just means that they have a different type of cancer, or their genetic makeup helps stop the cancer from spreading or growing faster or rapidly like it usually would with somebody else. We're all made of a different DNA. We're all made of a different genetic being and makeup. I don't know why that's hard to understand. That's the truth. That's not a lie. That's the truth. Roman looked gassed, little spent. You could tell his stamina wasn't there, and you could tell that he hadn't been really working out that much. Even though he worked out at the gym earlier in the week in Atlanta, and I think he worked out at Georgia Tech or one of their gyms or something like that. So you can stop with his cancer is a work thing, okay? Because it's not. First of all, WWE, granted, I'm a fair guy. I will say, over the years, WWE has done some shitty, dastardly stuff. They've done things that most people would not forgive them for doing. Like, if what they did was just one person doing it, I doubt you and I would ever forgive them. But because it's the WWE, we tend to forgive them. I get it. They've done some stupid shit. Katie Vick, Shawn Michaels teaming with God, Boogeyman eating the mole off of Jillian's face, exploiting a lot of wrestlers' deaths, fucking calling Brian Pillman's wife literally like a day or two after his death, and having a nationally televised interview with her over the phone just a day after her husband's death. So WWE has done and countless other things that I don't have time to name right now, but WWE has done a lot of shitty things. The one thing that they've never done is fake someone having a disease. That's one thing they've never done. And don't give me that, oh, what about Shelton Benjamin's mother catching a heart attack? What about Dawn Marie's father, Al, catching a heart attack? No. There's a difference between a heart attack and having a full-on disease. Now, a heart attack can be the result of a disease, or it can lead to a disease, but it's not a disease, okay? So, to this day, WWE has never done a disease angle, and I doubt they would stoop that low and risk losing sponsors, losing the kids as their fan base, just to get Roman Reigns over. Come on now, let's be three-dimensional thinkers here. Let's think from proper perspective. Let's think without emotional bias. Let's think without hate, especially hate towards Roman Reigns. Why would he put his daughter, why would he put his family through that? Come on now, let's do better as wrestling fans. But let this play out.
Tonight, he made an announcement about his battle against leukemia.
The good news is I'm in remission, y'all.
Give it up for the inspiring, the invincible Roman Reigns.
I'm surprised they didn't play his theme song.
how you threw it, y'all. I love that. That's so
That's something.
I know that.
You wouldn't think it, but I was born and raised in Pensacola, Florida, down in the Panhandle.
Really?
Just a Southern boy.
That's right. And I know the ABC affiliate there is WEAR in Pensacola.
It is,
That's
yeah,
right.
Channel 3 News.
Listen, I got a lot of family that lives down in Florida, so I know. That's why I had no problem with him saying y'all. I completely understand. I'm like, at least 80 to 85% of my family is either from Florida and or currently lives in Florida, so I get it.
That's, oh my gosh.
Shout out, yeah.
Right down the road. God bless. Just so incredibly happy for you. What was it like to be back in the ring and to show a few of your moves last night? Yeah.
It was amazing. You know, it's one of those things that I just thought about over and over, and I just knew in my head, you know, this journey is not going to be complete until I get to step foot back in that ring, you know, and I get to address my fans, and they were just so gentle with me and just so gracious. And
props to him for taking everything in. He really let the moment sink in for him. Not a lot of wrestlers do that.
they just sent so much love, and I just wanted everybody to know, and I was so nervous last night.
Really?
So nervous, and I don't even get nervous. I'm fine right now. Main events of WrestleMania, all good, but last night I think because it was just...
Hey, main event of WrestleMania 4 too many times. But enough about that.
So close to the best that it just really, you know, the perfectionist came out in me, the OCD came out, but everybody was so great. And the love, you know, through this whole process, the support is what was really overwhelming, you know, to be able to feel that from the whole world, from everybody, you know, all the prayers, all the blessings. It was a blessing.
It is something to know that people from all walks of life are lifting you up like that. We had people that were out since 2, 3 this morning waiting outside for you, and I know that you appreciate all your fans, especially the young ones. The young ones really touch your heart.
Well, let me just say this real quick. If somehow, in some insane, just batshit crazy way, if this ends up being a work, the WWE will never be able to recover from this. Guarantee it. They will never be able to recover from this. It would be as Vince used to say back in the day, in the Attitude Era, especially up against Austin, it would be a PR nightmare. Y'all thought Benoit was bad. When the Benoit tragedy happened, the mainstream media would not get off of Vince's ass for 2 years. I remember in 2009 they were still talking about the Benoit tragedy. They would not get off Vince's ass for 2 years when shit went down with Benoit and his family. If this ends up being a work, it's going to be 1,000,000 times worse than the Benoit tragedy. 1,000,000 times worse in terms of the scrutiny and the overall backlash that Vince and the company will get. But I stand firm in my belief and my conviction that it is not a work. WWE would not go this far. Never. And this is the same company that did a storyline where they teased the man getting his dick chopped off. And they backed away from that real quick.
But, you know, and that's something that, you know, we connect easily with the children. You know, we're a PG product in WWE. The families kind of drive our...
See what Roman said? My point exactly.
...business, you know, and we're you know, striving to be role models, and you start with the youth, you know, and as you know, sometimes children are the most resilient warriors in the world, you know, and we do so many different charitable causes that I've been able to see and visit with some of these kids, you know, some of these kids that are in the big fight, you know, in metric hospitals, you know. So anytime that we can give back to them, just pull a little bit of inspiration and share their story, I think that's very important.
Is it true that you let them know first before you let anybody else know about you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, and like you said, people from all walks of life, everybody was thinking about me. Everyone was praying for me, and I just feel so blessed, you know, to receive that type of attention, that type of love. But yeah, I had to. They made an awesome video that just lifted my spirits the whole time, and within such a short visit, just a one-day visit, we were able to make such strong relationships and such strong bonds with those children, and I can't wait to get back to Dallas and visit them again.
I'm sure they can't wait to see you. Your WWE family and the young fans and your family at home. What was it, 11 years ago when you were, 22 years old when you were first diagnosed?
Just a young buck.
I know, a baby was on the way.
Yeah.
How has your family helped you through this?
No, before Roman speaks, as a matter of fact, I'm going to rewind it after I'm done giving my thoughts about what Robin just said. But now that I think about it, it's crazy that I always wondered why there was such a huge gap between him getting cut from the CFL, from the Canadian Football League, for those of you who don't know, and him signing a developmental contract with the WWE. I always wondered why there was such a huge gap. I believe it was like a 2, maybe 3-year gap. And now that I think about it, at the time that Roman got cut from the CFL was the same time, around the same year, not around the same time exactly, but it was the same year where he was diagnosed with leukemia. Food for thought. I always wondered, why was it a 2, almost 3-year gap between him getting cut from the CFL and him signing a developmental deal with the WWE and being assigned to FCW, formerly known as Florida Championship Wrestling, now NXT. So food for thought. That's why. Or that's a factor, I should say. But let me rewind and so he could just restart his sentence.
First diagnosed.
Just a young buck.
I know, a baby was on the way.
Yeah.
How has your family helped you through this?
They've been my rock, and I think that's the most important thing, is that support system that surrounds you. And I'm sure you know this, sometimes it's our families that suffer the most.
Yeah.
We're just in it and we're just trying to overcome and just, move on to the next day and continue to progress. And they are the ones who are worrying to death. My mom, bless her heart, she's the biggest worry wart in the world. Mom, I love you, but you gotta chill out a little bit. But,
I'm surprised there wasn't on Raw last week. He might have been backstage, I don't know, but I'm surprised he wasn't out in the audience. Yet his mother was there, and even Rock's mother was there. But I didn't see Alpha there, so I don't know. I just thought that was weird.
Got an applause, Mom.
But that was the difference between the first time it felt like I was on an island, by myself, and this time I just felt like I was surrounded by guardian angels. The terror and the fears that I had, it was quickly alleviated as soon as I felt that outreach of all my fans, everyone just whether they knew who I was or were indifferent to me, they all rallied behind me.
So what do you want to do now? How do you want to help spread the message, and especially about pediatric cancer?
I have the opportunity to do as you do, to create awareness, just like this, ABC Good Morning America. I have a huge platform within the WWE.
Right.
We're a global brand. We're all over the world. So I think, every night that I'm able to step in that ring, it's a symbol of hope, a symbol of awareness. And, we're not just going to talk about it. We're in the process of creating, funds and foundations to help, So we want to make people aware, but we also want to, roll our sleeves up and get our hands dirty and make some moves.
Yeah, we're going to make some moves. You're making some moves on the silver screen. Do you know this man opposite this other guy, Dwayne? Hobbs and Shaw. And can I tell you what, Dwayne?
I was not looking forward to Hobbs until I saw that picture. Once I saw Roman, I was like, okay, I'm not extremely interested, but I'm a little bit more interested than I was before. So I actually might go see the movie whenever it comes out. I think it's supposed to be coming out this summer, or maybe the fall. I don't know, I'll look at it later.
What he said about you, his perseverance and humility, battling this challenge, has inspired our entire family as well as millions around the world in our beloved WWE universe. Can't wait to see the big dog return to the ring. What is it going to be like to see yourself up on the silver screen?
It's going to be a little weird, to be honest. I'm not a fan of watching my own work anymore, so. But you know, the experience was phenomenal. You know, to be able to hang out with Dwayne and see him in his element, you know, and just, you know, the type of genuine great person he is. He's infectious. You know, he can magnetize you. You want to be around him. You want to hang out with him because he's such a nice person. So it was great, you know. And then to be in the island of Hawaii, to be in Kauai, oh my goodness. We said it the whole time. The mana is real. So a little promotion of Hawaii. If you get a chance, get out there.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we are so happy for you, and thank you. Thank you for making your message, for sharing the message of hope for so many. It's so vital, and can't wait to see you back in the ring and on the big screen too. Roman Reigns. Woo! Well, hey there.
All right, so that's it for that Good Morning America interview that was done with Roman Reigns, who announced after 11 years that his leukemia had returned back in October, and has recently announced this past Monday on Raw that he is in remission. So, you know, we wish him the best. I personally wish him the best. He's not one of my favorites, but I thought that he was really good. He has gotten better over the years as a wrestler and as a performer. I could squeeze him into my top 10 at any given year. He's had great feuds. He's had great matches, whether you like it or not. He made Braun Strowman look like $1 million, at least until WWE ruined it. Bless up. I wish him the best, and I hope he's able to recover. Now, one thing I do want to say before I get out of here. There is rumor that Roman, they're going to have him make his comeback at Fastlane in March. I believe it's March 10th. The pay-per-views will come on March 10th. I think that it's too early for him to get back in the ring. He's nowhere near ready. Just judging by how he looked on Monday and how he moved on Monday, he didn't feel quite comfortable. He didn't feel quite in sync with the rest of his body. And I don't want him to come back and have a bad match. That's the last thing I want. When you hear about a wrestler making his comeback, making his return, you want them to have at least a good to borderline great match. You don't want it to be underwhelming. You don't want it to be shitty. You don't want to leave the show or get done watching the show at home thinking to yourself, damn, he or she could have had a better match than they did. You know, so I want Roman to be at full strength when he comes back. I don't want the haters to see him have a bad match and be like, look, we told you that Roman has sucked and he's sucked for years, and this is proof. This is proof. Like, no, we don't want that. I don't want that. So I think that they should hold off Roman getting back in the ring until after WrestleMania, because I feel like if you try to rush a feud for him for Mania, it's going to be too fast, it's going to be too forced, no real build, and nobody's going to care. Honestly, nobody's going to care. So if WWE wants to play their cards right, they're going to wait till after WrestleMania. Look, we can do one WrestleMania without Roman Reigns, okay? I know he's main evented 4 of these motherfuckers in a row, but we can have one without him, alright? Like, seriously, we can. We'll be fine. We're gonna have the women main event this year, so we definitely, we're not clamoring, like, we're not begging for Roman. Alright? So, you know, like, how much of the needle could he possibly move within the next month and a half for WrestleMania? Not much. So, come back this soon is just too early, too unnecessary, and physically it's not good for him. And even more so mentally, it's not good for him. You want Roman to be at 100%. You want him to be sharp. You want him to be at his best. When I think of great comebacks, the first comeback I think of is Shawn Michaels' comeback. When he came back, he was sharp. It was like he never left. And I want to have that same feeling with Roman that I felt when Shawn made his comeback. I'm out.